Yeah, good afternoon to one and all. Thank you so much, Dr. Joanna, for your elaborative introduction of myself and Dr. Anitha. And I am very much pleasure to be with this part of Millet Expo Tech 2020. And of course, onset of this program, I would like to thank Joanna for making this great effort to making joining all the different types of different varieties of stakeholders, those who are working across the country in the millets. Being I'm a scientist in NIN, I thought of sharing my experiences or the data which we have collected for the particularly on the millets, which is good for you or the consumers. As Dr. Joanna said, so myself and Dr. Anitha, we are going to talk in this topic, good for you. Millet is good for you. I'll start my presentation. Am I audible to everyone? And my slides are visible to everyone?
Yeah, visible. Please go ahead.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, as Dr. Joanna said initially during my introduction, being NIN is responsible for the updation of Indian food composition tables, time to time. And recently in 2017, we released the latest Indian food composition tables, which consist of more than 500 key foods which consumed in India, and more than 200 nutrient and phytonutrient, bioactive phytonutrient components in this one. So how we, generally I just have a brief note on this, how we have done this, the food composition, because in this, the recent food composition analysis, two important factors are very, it's unique in terms of the food analysis. The first one is identifying the key foods. The key foods is nothing but it's consumed by more than 75% of the population of country. It's key foods, and we identified the key foods, and the sampling of each key foods we conducted across India. So these two criteria we have followed, and the samples also collected across India, which is consumed by the people, particularly in the market, and those samples we have analyzed. As I said, more than 550 samples. For this presentation, I just restricted to the millets which we have collected, and I also would like to compare the nutritional efficiency of the millets with the commonly consumed rice and wheat, where we can see the millets are good for us. So India, what we did, we divided into 6 regions: north, south, east, west, center, and northeast. And in all the regions, which covers more than 100, almost 107 sampling sites, you can see here in each states how many number of the sampling sites we have identified. These sampling sites which covers different ecological conditions, agroclimatic conditions, even the soil types, agriculture practice. So in order to cover all these different variations, so we have spreaded our sample collection centers across India, which covers 107 primary sample collection spots. Once the sample collection spots are identified, what we did, so we dispersed the people from Hyderabad to respective sample collection centers. Again, in order to make this the regional specific composition analysis, we decided to club only the specific regions. For example, the north zones, we made the Delhi as a regional composite center. Then the south, Bangalore is a composite center, and center is Varanasi, west is Mumbai, the east is Kolkata, and the northeast is Guwahati. So what we did after reaching to the respective sample collection center, so we collected the samples and then we brought back to the respective homogenized center or this pool center, where I already explained. Then from here, we transported by air to the Hyderabad for the nutrient analysis. Though we have analyzed, as I said, individual zone wise, 6 zone wise, for the national representative nutrients, we have taken the mean of all the data, all the 6 regions as a representation. The single value, we have used the mean plus or minus with standard deviation of all the 6 regions, which is given in our database. So as I told you initially, so there are 5 millets we have collected across India, and that's what I just wanted to share in this presentation. I also would like to compare these nutritional value with the rice and the wheat, which is major staple foods of our country. The coming from the starting, which is the macronutrients, the protein, fat, ash, and the fiber and carbohydrate. So you can see uh, the the protein content of the pearl millet and the little millet is little higher side, higher than the other it's a small millets, the finger millet, and also it's a comparable with the whole wheat. I have taken here only the whole wheat. I have not included the wheat flour here because we are comparing the all the millets as a whole, this whole cereals, whole millets. And eventually, if you look at the dietary fiber, it's very good when compared with the different millets, particularly the pearl millet and the finger millets are having very good dietary fiber. And because of this protein and dietary fiber, the little higher side, the carbohydrate content is little in the lower side. And similarly, coming to the different water-soluble vitamins which we analyzed, you can see here, when compared with the rice, the thiamine content or the vitamin B1 content, it is exceptionally higher in all the millets which we analyzed. And because of this, the whole seeded, whole wheat, and this is little higher side compared to the rice. Whereas the millets are very good in the thiamine and other the riboflavin vitamin B, B2, and slowly even the B5 also is good. But especially if you look at the B6, the first two, pearl millet and sorghums, are better than other millets, even the rice and wheat. And similarly, the folate content also is good when compared with the rice. So obviously, all the millets are good for the folic acid rich. And coming to the fat soluble vitamins, which analyzed all A, D, E, K. Here also you can see actually here I forgot to give the English name here. The overall tocopherol, which is vitamin E, you can see bajra is very good when compared with no, the first one is it is a little millet. Little millet is better, then followed by the bajra when you compare with the rice. Of course, little higher tocopherol also estimated in the whole wheat. And then D2, first time we estimated in Indian foods. And this ragi or the finger millet shows very rich in the vitamin D2. Similarly, vitamin K1 is a phyloquinone. Jowar is shown to be exceptionally very rich, or the sorghum. Jowar is nothing but the sorghum, shown to be very rich in vitamin K1 among the millets. Similarly, you can see the carotenoid profile. In the carotenoid profile, the pearl millet is shown to be very good in individual carotenoids as well as the total carotenoids. And even if you look at the different glucose or the free sugars and the starch, you can see the starch content is little higher in the rice compared to the millets. It's always the millets are lesser side of the starch, and the glucose also less when you compare with the rice and wheats, which is good for our health. And coming to the minerals, of course, the minerals, if you look at the iron and zinc, most of the millets are better in the iron and zinc content compared to the rice. Exceptionally, if you see the zinc content, pearl millet is 2.76 compared to the rice. Even the copper content also higher in the finger millet. And the very important thing is the calcium. Calcium in the 3 digits, 364 when you compare with the all other millets and cereals. So, obviously the finger millet is very good for calcium. Coming to the fatty acid profile, so I have given only the selected fatty acids where you can see very clearly that the mono unsaturated fatty acid and the polyunsaturated fatty acids are in the higher side, which is good for our health. Similarly, you can see the amino acid profile also. Though the amino acid profiles are ups and downs in terms of different millets and the even the cereals and wheats, and even the lysine content also, it's ups and downs. But if you look at the overall essential amino acid content, it is obviously on par with the rice, and it is exclusively more in the kodo millet.
Dr. Ananthan, sorry, yeah. Dr. Ananthan, we'll just have to be a bit careful on time. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. I just about to finish in 2 slides.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Apart from this nutritional profile, also it is very important to look at the phytonutritional importance of the millets, where we have seen different polyphenolic contents, where you can see most of the polyphenol contents are very rich in the millets, whatever we have analyzed. So this is my last slide. Thank you so much. Now, second presenter, Anitha, will continue. And if any questions are there, then we can take at the end of the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ananthan. Thank you, Joanna. I'm going to talk on how these millets are very good in improving nutritional status. Sorry for that. Okay, so Dr. Ananthan just now showed the several slides on how millets are really superior compared to rice and comparable with wheat. They are rich in iron, they are rich in calcium, they are rich in zinc content, and they are having low GI, so it is good for managing diabetes. So now I'm going to talk on how these millets are good in improving nutritional status, and I'm going to pick some examples from our studies that was conducted in both Asia and Africa. So first I'm going to talk about the studies, school feeding studies. Next slide, please. For the first time, we have introduced millets in school feeding in Karnataka state of India, where we introduced pearl millet, finger millet, and little millet in just by replacing rice in some of the popular dishes of the particular community. So we have done it in a very culturally sensitive way. So next slide, please. When we formulated the recipes with the millet, these 3 millets, we formulated several recipes because we had to incorporate these recipes into the 7 days menu cycle. And you can see all these newly formulated recipes with the millets are highly superior compared to the standard meals, which are actually fortified rice with the sambar. Sambar is pigeon pea stew. So compared to that regular food, all the millet based food that we have served were really having very good iron content and zinc and calcium and magnesium. So the finger millet recipes are the ones which were really having high calcium levels, and pearl millet and little millet recipes were having high iron and zinc levels. Next slide, please. And it is also because these recipes are made with combining pulses, various pulses and vegetables, we can see the protein, fat, fiber, and energy levels are also very high compared to the standard meals. And also these food, when we were served for continuously 3 months on an everyday daily basis, it also helped in improving the nutritional status of the adolescent children in terms of height and weight. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, the acceptance, when it comes for when we come for acceptance level, all these recipes that was formulated with the millets were having high acceptance. Being a new formulation, like it was introduced newly to those children, still the acceptance was more than 4, scale out of 5 scale, it was all more than 4.5. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So,
and Anitha, sorry, we're a little short on time. Maybe if you, just give one summary on Tanzania, and then if we've got time at the end, we can come back for more studies. Thank you. Sorry, Anitha.
Sure. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to give some examples also from Tanzania and Kenya, and we have also introduced millets in school feeding program in Tanzania, where we found the acceptance was still very high. Finger millet porridge was introduced. Their regular meal was usually they were consuming maize porridge. So now we introduced finger millet porridge again in a culturally sensitive way, and having a participatory approach showed it changed the perception on millet. So the more than 80% of the children actually they changed their negative perception on millet, and the acceptability was again very high. And in Kenya, again, we introduced millets, and we, through the Smart Food Ambassadors, we could able to reach more than 60,000 households, where again it changed, having a right message on nutritional content of the millet and how it can improve the nutritional status of the household members. It actually improved the dietary diversity of the children up to 100%, and then for a woman it improved more than 20%. Next slide, please. And when we have introduced the millet in a complementary food, where we integrated the intervention by giving a message on food safety and preparation on complementary porridge, and also introducing a complementary porridge with the multiple ingredients. It improved the dietary diversity. It also improved the nutritional status of the children. Next slide, please. And that is the last slide. You can see the underweight status of the children actually reduced by more than 30%, and wasting status reduced by 100%. And by introducing millets and the legumes and vegetables, aflatoxin exposure also reduced. So it was totally safe and highly nutritious food, and thereby it actually improved the infant and young child feeding practice. And within 81 days, which is a very shorter period, the nutritional status also improved. So these are some examples from different countries, from India, Malawi, and Tanzania. Where we actually achieved the improvement in nutritional status by introducing the millet in their midday meal and also at the household level.
All right. Thank you very much, Anitha and Dr. Ananthan. That was great to have both the nutrition sort of composition and then examples of application.